How's it going, everybody? Nick Daniels here, coming at you live yet again, and today we're going to be talking yet again about some One Night Ultimate Werewolf. We're going to do all 4 expansions here, so we're going to do a couple videos here, so I apologize if you're a regular viewer and you're not so much into these explanation videos, but for the people that I have been demanding these in person at the board game nights, feel free to watch along. So today we're going to be talking about, as you can see here, we've got the One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Now, we did technically talk about this game, but I want to finish up with a couple cards there that were a little complicated for the first video. And then we're also now going to be talking about the direct expansion, which is called the One Night Ultimate Daybreak. So Daybreak and One Night Ultimate Werewolf go hand in hand together. They work like basically side by side, and they work very well together. And it adds additional cards to the One Night Ultimate Werewolf that definitely buff up the werewolf team and give some new interesting villager cards. So naturally what we're going to do is we're going to go through the quick game setup just as we normally would. We're going to show you some of the new cards to expect, and then we're going to go one by one through those cards and say exactly what they do. So the last time we looked at these cards here, as you can see, we've got the base game here. This is the first game that you'll get, and all the cards that are tied to that game. Now, when we talked about in the last video here, which hopefully I'll link up somewhere on the top so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here, we discussed all the cards that I'm going to pull away here. So all these cards with these two here. So these top 3 we actually didn't discuss, and I find they get a little bit more complicated, so I left it at very much just a very simplistic description. So for today, we're just going to add these 3 cards in, and then we might bring in one of these cards here just for an example as we play along with the round there. So we're going to bring these 3 cards in, and then we're going to not talk about these ones as much, but we might bring in a card or 2 just as an example with one of these werewolves. Okay, so here's the cards that we're going to be talking about today. So as you see here, we've got a new little wolf team here that's on our left-hand side, and then we've got our villager team here on the right. So like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a game, and we'll show you quickly how to set that up. But if you are new to One Night Werewolf and you're not exactly sure how this game goes, so basically you always want to have a set amount of cards there for the villager and the werewolf team, and the objective of the villager team is you're trying to find out who's on the werewolf team and vote them out. Now, when you have the app on your phone, it's called the One Night, it's just the One Night Werewolf app there. You'll actually go through and select these cards, these icons, and I'll put up a little tooltip now on the screen. I'll just overlay it here on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about with these cards. Now, when you select those cards, the app will go through and it'll tell you exactly what to do for those roles, but sometimes there's a little confusion on what the heck was that card supposed to do. Did I hear that right? So I'm going to go through, we're going to explain how to play some of these roles, and what exactly is the objective there. So remember, the villager team is trying to out the werewolves, and you want to vote out a werewolf to win, and the werewolf wants to do the opposite. The werewolf team is trying to vote out a villager to win. So we'll quickly set up the game for you guys here, and we'll get moving along. Okay, so we've got the board set up here. So we're just simulating a 12-player game. So we got 12 cards out, and then 3 of the middle cards. Now, we're going to start right away with what these cards do and exactly how they work, because it's very important for what the next card I'm going to put in. So you would actually do this before everyone gets a card, but it's very good for me just to show you and explain it. So usually how the game will work is that the werewolves will open their eyes. Now, when the werewolves do so, when the game first starts, the Doppelganger will actually, if I am incorrect, will go before them.
Doppelganger, wake up.
So the Doppelganger is one of the first cards that'll get played. And the reason for that is the Doppelganger is actually going to look at another player's card and do the role of the card they view. Now, if that happens to be a werewolf, they become a werewolf and they're on the werewolf team, and they get the ability of the card they're looking at. If they look at, say, the Troublemaker, which swaps 2 players' cards, they're going to do that as well. So the Doppelganger really brings in a new effect to the game, because that can be a complete wild card for what card they saw. Now, if the Doppelganger views the card to the left, which is, say, this one here, the Apprentice Tanner, and they play the role of now the Apprentice Tanner, they'll play whatever team they see, right? So the card that they view will go with the Doppelganger if the Doppelganger card is moved to any other player. So the Doppelganger can be very confusing. Again, that's from the base game. But yeah, anything you view. So let's say I viewed a Mason, I would play the role of the Mason. Obviously, opening your eyes at that point won't be so helpful as a Mason. But if it was, say, the Robber, I would rob another player. Now, so when the Wolves go, there will actually be, if you have an Alpha Wolf, a extra middle card. Now, we're just going to put it here as an example, but you might have this set up a little bit differently. So you have your 3 middle cards that any player could be, and this one will always be set up as the Wolf card, so it'll be an extra random Werewolf. The Alpha Wolf, when starting with the Wolf round, all the Wolves will wake up together, and they will make eye contact.
Alpha Wolf, wake up.
And the Alpha Wolf will wake up. So the Alpha Wolf gets the special ability of making someone into a wolf. Now, unfortunately, the user, or the player, will not know they've been turned into a wolf. So what will happen is they will take the wolf card and swap the card in the middle with that. So only the Alpha Wolf will know this player has been turned into a wolf. So unfortunately, in some games, it can be very powerful, and it can be the opposite, because you might have a teammate that has no idea that they're a werewolf. In some situations, really only the Insomniac would be able to tell that information if they've been turned into a wolf. So it can be a very, very difficult play. But it's an ability that the wolves get, so it keeps it balanced, but not so balanced. Sometimes you might want to make the wolf, you want to turn someone into a wolf that you might know sometimes can be a little bit more believable if you know your friend group well. You know, someone who might not get voted out because they'll go down saying they're a Mason and they will actually know they're a wolf. So it's a plus and a minus.
Mystic Wolf, wake up.
Dream Wolf wakes up separately and views the player of another card. So you might be asking, why is that so good? Wait, why can I flip this person's card and see what he is? Where's the bonus to that? So the Mystic Wolf, when viewing other card, typically is going to want to play the role of the quote-unquote Seer and say, hey, listen, I've seen Joey's card, he's the Apprentice Seer, I can confirm that. And he'll say, yeah, that's right, I'm the Apprentice Seer. So that's a really good way to kind of credit yourself as a Mystic Wolf, because then you'll have someone else working with you that won't know. We'll come back to the Apprentice here in just a moment.
Dream Wolf.
The Dream Wolf is an interesting one. So the Dream Wolf is on the wolf team, but doesn't wake up with the wolves. So any combination of wolves will wake up in the beginning of the game. So the Alpha Wolf, the Mystic, a regular wolf if in the game, all are wolves and all wake up together. So you won't necessarily know who the Mystic is or who is what. However, the Dream Wolf will stick out his thumb, and the wolves will see who the Dream Wolf is. So you are on the wolf team, and you do have allies, but you don't know who they are. And you also do that for the minion round as well as the Dream Wolf. So you will stick out your thumb for the minion, so the minion can see who you are and get an idea of who his teammates are. So that is the wolf team in a quick nutshell.
Apprentice Tanner, wake up. Tanner, stick out your thumb so the Apprentice Tanner can see who you are.
So the Tanner and the Apprentice Tanner go very interesting. So the Tanner is actually from the base game, and the Apprentice Tanner is from Daybreak. So in the base game, Tanner wins by having himself voted out. So typically you want to be, as suspicious as possible in some ways. You want to claim the role of somebody else, and you want to be voted out. Vote out the Tanner, and you win. So that works out very well for the Tanner. The Tanner wins by himself. He's fantastic. However, with the Daybreak edition, the Tanner actually sticks out his thumb, and the Apprentice Tanner opens his eyes and looks for him. The Apprentice Tanner wins if the Tanner is killed off, with the Tanner winning, so you win as a team. However, if there is no Tanner, if he was in the middle 3 cards, the Apprentice Tanner becomes the Tanner and wins by being voted out.
Witch, wake up.
So we'll move on to the Witch. Now this is going to be slightly out of order for these cards, but I may reorder the video so it does come back in order, but I don't think we'll worry about that too much today. So the Witch has the ability to look at one of these 3 middle cards, and if the Witch does so, she can swap that card with herself or any other player's card. So, for example, I am the Witch. I'm going to flip over this card. I'm going to have a look at the Sentinel, and I could swap out that card, but I'm not allowed to look at the player's card and put it there. So I would have that information of what my teammate is, and he might not know that. So I could confirm, yes, I do have someone on the villager team with me. So the Witch can be very powerful in that sense, and you can also see a werewolf and assign it to somebody, or yourself, and play the role of the wolf. Which, of course, in that sense, you would join the wolf team.
Village Idiot. Wake up.
Next is the Village Idiot. So the Village Idiot it can be very confusing, but this is where some of the cards like the Insomniac come very much in handy. So the Village Idiot has the ability to move every single player's card to the left or right. So as in swapping like these two, swapping these two, and so on and so forth, all the way around the board, except his own card. So you will still stay the Village Idiot. Again, Insomniac, where you can check your own card at the end of the round, is extremely powerful with the Village Idiot because you will know what has happened at the end of that game. You can determine if there was a Village Idiot, for example.
Paranormal Investigator. Wake up.
So the Paranormal Investigator is a very interesting card and is on the Villager team for the time being. So the Paranormal Investigator can look up to two players' cards, one by one. So for example, if I'm the Paranormal Investigator, my turn comes up, I'm going to look at the first player's card, I'll see the Revealer. That's fantastic. Now I'm going to put that face down, and I'm going to look at another card, and I'm going to see the Dream Wolf. Now what happens is when the Paranormal Investigator sees a wolf, if it's the first card they looked at, so this is the first card we'll say I looked at, not the second, you immediately put it face down, stop looking at cards, and you are now on the wolf team. You are now a werewolf. However, if you look at two villager cards, you're still a villager, and you have that information of what those two players are. So it can be very much a risk, and it can be very much a blessing for more information. So it's up to the player who they pick, but they can view two cards and go from there.
Revealer. Wake up.
The Revealer can flip any player's card and leave it face up. So for example, I would flip the Paranormal Investigator, and I would leave it face up. However, if it is on the werewolf team or a tanner, it is flipped face down, and I leave that information. Furthermore, if the Paranormal Investigator sees a tanner, as we have up here, it would be the same idea. The card is now, you stop looking at cards, and you become on that team. So the Bodyguard is one of the cards that I don't find are very interesting, and I'll explain why here in just a moment. So the Bodyguard.
Curator. Wake up.
The Curator. Hunter.
Sentinel. Wake up.
And Sentinel, all in my opinion are, and no offense to these cards, are very boring. So the reason why I say that is because none of them have the ability to do anything during the night, except the Curator. Now technically, the Bodyguard and the Sentinel do get to do something, but it's very lackluster in comparison to other cards that have abilities that get to do fun things. These cards, in my opinion, are very much boring, would be the best words that come to mind. So the Curator gets to move a random token to a player. So there is an addition of tokens, and some of those tokens have abilities like, to move a player to the werewolf team, something like that. But I find in most applications, it's just very much the Curator is one of the only cards that do this, and normally I never play with the Curator for that reason. The Hunter, if voted out, whoever the Hunter votes at is out with him, so as in like a kind of a suicide and you take someone with you automatically. Again, I just don't really approve of the card. I think it's kind of boring. But that's how it is. So the Bodyguard, when the elimination round comes up, or the end of the game anyway, whoever the Bodyguard points at is safe from elimination. Again, very much not a very entertaining card. And the Sentinel can place a shield token on a player. Again, the token point from the Curator. And the shield token actually shields them from doing any kind of events with their cards being looked at or tampered in any way. So for example, if the Sentinel put the shield token on a drunk player's card, the drunk would not be able to take a middle card. Again, I just find this is very negating in the sense that if you want to play and have fun and get to do something, and unfortunately that kind of ruins those possibilities. Feel free to play those cards for sure, but as of today, I have never played these cards. Next in the line,
Apprentice Seer.
we
Wake
have
up.
the Apprentice Seer. So the Apprentice Seer is like the Seer, but only has the ability to look at a single middle card. Now you might ask yourself, can you look at the Werewolf card that would have been placed earlier? And that is no, you can only look at one of the 3 middle cards. So you can flip one, have a look, and flip it face down. So that is the Daybreak game covered in a nutshell. Again, basically the expansion here. Now, a few of those cards, I know, always have a few questions, but I think for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. The Doppelganger can be a little confusing with the card rules, but again, once you kind of get the hang of it here and you play a few rounds, trust me, you'll be A-OK. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate the views on my little channel, and we'll see you in the next one, which we'll be doing Alien, and then we'll be doing Vampire. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, you pencil pushers. If you guys want to check out my Instagram here, I've just got it in the background. It's Nick Daniels Photography with an underscore in between each word where I post every day. That's a lie. Thanks for watching. Peace. Thanks for watching, you pencil pushers. If you guys want to check out my Instagram here, I've just got it in the background. It's Nick Daniels Photography with an underscore in between each word where I post every day. That's a lie. Thanks for watching. Peace.